believe it or not, we get a handful of calls, especially around the summer months, of people that are dealing with coffee stains on their ceiling. And no, your morning coffee did not accidentally spill and cause a ginormous stain on your ceiling. I don't care how tired you are, you didn't do that. What more than likely is causing that is water intrusion.
But Justin, I just got a new roof. There's no way I'm gonna have water intrusion up there.
And you're probably correct. But if you're one of those people that has an extra closet, well, I hate to tell you, but those coffee stains might be related to your air handler that's inside your attic. I have gotten a number of different calls from people who did not realize that their air handler is actually in the attic. Normally it's not a problem. In fact, it actually makes a lot of sense because your air handler, it's kind of big, kind of clunky, very industrial looking. Nobody wants to look at that in their home. So what do a lot of HVAC contractors do? Well, they put the air handler inside the attic. The only problem with that is when the air handler starts to have issues, it starts to leak. And when it leaks, ultimately, it's in the attic, you're not hanging out in the attic. Oftentimes it's due to water leaking on top of the drywall, which the water then is absorbed by the drywall and creates a coffee-like stain on your ceiling. And ultimately at that point, the leak's probably been going on for a decent bit of time. So depending on your situation, the drywall could be very wet. And that's why you're seeing the infamous coffee stain. I'm not gonna lie, every time I see one of these coffee stains, it does make me crave coffee. We love coffee. Anyway, this is a job that we recently completed right here in the Tampa area, specifically the Carrollwood area, where our customer had a AC leak. Ultimately, it was in a bathroom that she didn't really use. Didn't really know about it right away because nobody's hanging out in their attic and watching their air handler 24/7. So by the time she did know about it, well, the coffee stain was huge and drywall was very wet. So ultimately, she called us, and this is where we were able to help our customer in more ways than just showing up for the remediation. Our customer was getting the runaround with their HVAC guy. As a restoration company showing up to water jobs, AC handlers happen to be a good bit of them. And we deal with this all the time. HVAC contractors just don't want to accept that maybe they made a mistake or the part that they installed failed, and they kind of give the customer the runaround. First, they blame it on the float switch, and then they'll blame it on the drain pan. And after that, well, you're getting a whole new HVAC unit. So our customer was briefly explaining this because once we set equipment and we did demolition, while we thought the leak was fixed, it actually wasn't. And it started leaking while we were on site. Ultimately, I stepped in and I just provided a casual recommendation to our AC guy, an AC guy that I met working in the field, and I really trusted the guy. And I've actually used him on my own AC unit, and they do what they say, and they say what they do. 3B Heating and Air, thank you so much for stepping in and getting the job done right the first time around. And I also appreciate you guys not trying to upsell my customer into a bunch of unnecessary things that they didn't need. Customer was super satisfied and are probably going to use them moving forward. So once the leak was fixed, of course, during this process, we had already completed the demolition. And since it leaked again, the drying phase extended a little bit longer than it needed to, but that's okay.
And no, we did not charge our customer additional. Once our drying equipment is on site, we leave it on site until the job is dry at no additional charge.
Once the drying phase was completed, it was time to get this bathroom rebuilt and back to its pre-loss condition. The rebuild phase included hanging drywall, taping and mudding, and some insulation as well. I'm super pleased with how this job came out. It looks good. And in my opinion, it looks a little bit better than it did before, but that's for you to determine. If you're in the Tampa, St. Pete area and you're having issues with your AC and you're looking for a company that you can trust, come in, get the job done right the first time at a reasonable cost, consider giving Drywall Restoration a call. All that being said, guys, thanks for watching this week's video.